Howdy, Possum Patty here, and it is Slow Stitch Sunday, so come on along. First, we were at Michael's, and I did buy a few things. I bought a pack of floss, embroidery floss. And I bought this particular package because it was on clearance, and there's a lot of floss in here, and it just had these beautiful like variegated colors. Look at the blues. There's all different blues and greens and purples, and the yellows to the pinks. And I do have some of these other colors, but there's a lot of variegated in here, and it was just only a couple bucks on clearance. And like I said, a lot of thread in there. So I'm just going to take this, and for now, I'm just going to dump them into the bin. Like that. But the only thing I was disappointed in was there was no pale pink. Besides the pink that's in the variegated ones, there is not a pale pink. So this is thread I have to wrap. So I did purchase some pale pink. Isn't that pretty? Oops. To go with my little Vera Bradley stitch book. Got this nice pink, and I thought I had another one in here too. Yes. So I got these lovely pale pinks, and I did have coupons. I had a coupon that was 20% off everything that was a regular price, and I had a 40% off coupon for something that was a regular price. And I bought these little spools to wrap all these loose threads on, because I'm trying to learn to be organized, right? So I will be doing that. And then I have some more rings, and I guess probably what I'll do is, after I wrap them, organize these by colors, like do a blue one, a purple one, a green one, things like that. Little loose bits everywhere. So I bought that, so I can work on that. Maybe that'll be like a TV project. And I did get some embroidery needles that have a nice big eye in them, so that I can thread them. This other thing is some hand cream. The hand cream I get for free at Bath and Body Works, because I buy people presents at Christmas, and then all year long they send me coupons to get free hand cream. And I need it because my hands get so dry. Okay, I'm throwing that stuff on the floor for right now. And let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, the other thing was I found a one of those thin wire threaders. It was in a basket of sewing stuff. It was actually in this baggie here of sewing things. So I've got my needle threader. I've got thread. I've got some new floss. I've got some good needles. And I've been watching other people slow stitch, and what I'm really, really loving is how they just cover the page in stitches. So now, to me, this is like a beginning of a page, but there's a lot more I can do on this page. So I'm going to go back and revisit this page and do some more detailing on this page, because I just love it when there's just like stitches and beads and things all over. I tend to want to be very neat and organized with everything I do, but I want to be a little bit more freer with some of the stitching and add some beads to this page. So let me think about what I want to do first and pull out some thread and a few different things. So the first thing I really want to try is putting some beads on. And I do have beads back from when I was making lanyards for work. And I thought maybe some blue beads. This little bit of blue to me is supposed to represent the sky. And I've got these really pretty beads. And I got some blue thread, and I picked a smaller needle. And I really don't know what I'm doing, but that's okay, because you learn by doing. I watch other people and I get ideas, and I learn by doing. Well, now I think that came out gorgeous. I hope these sparkly beads come across well on the camera. That really added a lot to the page, I think. Okay, now I wanted to add something fun around the flower. So let me find a color to do that with. Okay, I'm going to use this yellow. There's a little tiny bit of yellow in the center of the pansies, and I have an idea for that. But first I want to work on this flower. And I want to do something fun around the flower. I'm not sure yet. But something like coming out from the flower and then going around like in a circle. Should I stay in the pink? I could stay in the dark pink. I'm not really sure how to go about this yet. And then I want to make, am I in frame? Want to make a stitch. Across. Pull that. There we go. Sort of like a T stitch, like that. Just coming out from around the flower. Maybe I'll do it in each, between each petal. Of course, if you run into that plastic button, there we go, like that. And come out. And then cross it like a T. So people are sharing their experiences making these slow stitch books, and another way to do it is to use ugly material as the pages and then sew on a block, and when your block is done, then stitch it over the ugly material. I know people who do that in their junk journals, They'll make the junk journal with their quote-unquote ugly papers, the ones they got in kits that they never used, and then just decorate the pages on top of them. But since this book is so small, it's not too much in the way. It's very soft too. It kind of bends out of the way. I keep hitting the button. Move it over, move it over. There we go. Keep poking until you get it right. There's a little short piece down here for the pink. Okay, I guess I could have made that longer. Almost around. I guess you can spend a really long time just stitching and stitching and stitching, and just take your time. It's sort of meditative. Make it like a meditation, slow stitch. Okay, one more. This is a longer one. Okay, that just adds a little behind the flower. I'm going to tie this off. I'll be right back. Okay, while I have this yellow thread on, I'm going to do my very first fancy stitch. I got to keep checking the frame because when you zoom in, it's so easy to get out of frame. So I'm going to do a French knot. This is something I remembered from years ago. So you pull it through. I'm going to make one at the center of these little pansies here. And you take your needle and you wrap the thread around 3 times and then put it back through the material a couple threads away from where you came out. And make sure I don't go through the back. And then you pull it and you get a little fancy knot in the center of the flower. And that is a French knot. Very easy to do. Okay, I'm just going to go to the next flower, which is over here. In the book it does get a little hard to get down here so close to the spine. So you pull through 1, 2, 3, and a couple threads away, poke it back, and this gives the flower a lot of dimension, and just pull it through. Isn't that cute? Okay, I'm going to do one more over here. It's way down here in the corner. I can never see if I'm in frame or not. This will be hard to see. I'll talk you through it. Pull the needle through. Take the thread and go 1, 2, 3 times around the needle and put it back in. And pull it through. There you have it. So I do these up here. Okay, there's my little French knots in the center of the little pansies that are in the background. My little added touch around the purple flower and my beads there. Shall I do some more? I'm thinking about adding some of this gold thread to the butterfly. Let me zoom in on that. So I thought if I could make those little French knots at the end of his antenna, see how it comes out. 1, 2, 3. Make sure I get the thread all the way in there. 1, 2, 3. Try this again. Ooh, I like it. All right, I'm going to give the butterfly some gold accents. And then come back, let's see, we should do this part. I think I'm just going to make a stitch down the antenna. And then I'm going to hop over to this side. I didn't put any spit on this thread. All right, wet it up. 1, 2, 3. Back in. Nice little knot. And a stitch. No, I don't want to go there. Nope. There. Now I think I'll probably just put a couple knots in those little circles and then be done. There's just a touch of gold on the butterfly. So far, how do you like all the accents? And I'm feeling like I just need to do maybe one more thing. I've got straight stitches, I got the French knots. I'm thinking about putting a couple of little X's inside this leaf. And I don't know how I'm going to do this exactly. So I will just get started on it. Trying to get the needle. There it is. By that thread there. I didn't plan this out too much. Okay, that X is so small that it doesn't look much like an X. But that's okay, it's at the base. So let's put a bigger in, a bigger one in. And see how that goes. Okay, come out here. This particular floss is kind of bulky. It's not as smooth as the other one. Okay, and now I'm going to try a bigger one. Maybe somewhere around there. And then I'll make a smaller one going towards the tip of the leaf. I guess you got to practice your X's to get them to look like X's. Okay, that one came out pretty good. And I'm going to try another one. So I'm thinking you should come down here the opposite way that I'm going, so that when I put the stitch in, it's headed in the right direction. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, now I got to get a tiny one in there. And cross it over. You know what that is? Thread coming through from somewhere. And should I put one more? Okay, one more tiny one, then I'm going to cut it off. Well, I thought I was done. I'm liking the cross stitching and the beads and the French knots and the gold accents. But I think I'm going to run a couple rows of straight stitches across the bottom and then maybe do a little bit of seed stitching around in here. And then maybe I'll be done. I saw this on a few people's stitching, and they just make a couple rows of stitches, and I kind of like that look. So let me see if I can do that here. As you can see, I've changed. I went and fixed dinner and cleaned the kitchen and took my shower. So everything is done for the day. Of course, I have a row across this lace. So what can I do there? Oh, and I wanted to try this variegated, these tie-dye flosses that I bought on sale. What I'm going to do here, I guess I can go up above it, up above it. Just so I can get to the other side. I think the more you do this, the more you want to do it. I remember when I was a kid, the girl across the street who'd come over and babysit sometime when we were little. She'd make little clothes, hand sewing for our Barbie dolls, out of scraps of material. So then I'd try to make little clothes too. Well, I wasn't very good at sewing by hand when I was that young. I want to catch the edge of this lace. We did make clothes for our paper dolls, though, too. Of course, out of paper. I don't want to get too close to the edge because I got a little fringe going there. Alright, I'm just going to stitch back and forth, back and forth. It'll take me a few minutes. Okay, I only made 2 rows, and I went this way and back that way, and you can see here that the color did change by the time I got back to the second row. Now these green ones were there, so it's just this stitch there and there. It's just starting to turn like a purpley blue by the time I got to the end. And now I'm going to do a seed stitch because I'm not done yet. I thought I'd be done, but I'm not. All right, bringing it in. And a seed stitch is just little tiny stitches that go off in different directions, and I'm using a very subtle pink on top of pink, and the trick is to get them about the same size and going in different directions and leaving space in the middle. So these might be a little hard to see. So I'll bring it up close and show you a few, and then I'll finish it. Kind of like the stitches I made to put on the beads, only without the beads. So it looks just like a bunch of little pink seeds thrown down onto the material. You don't want them too big. Let me do one more here. Okay, I'm doing this not to teach you how to do it. I'm doing this to teach me how to do it. Because you learn by doing. So they're like a light pink on top of the pink material. There's one, the one there. So I'm going to just do that throughout this pink material, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So I believe I finished it now. I had so much fun doing these seed stitches on the pink with the light pink. I ran a few more out around the pansies using this variegated floss. So today I added the beads, the sparkly beads, the gold to the butterfly, the yellow tees around the flower, the yellow centers with a French knot in the pansies, 2 rows of straight stitches across the bottom, and a row of X's up the leaf. So I just want to thank everybody for coming along today on this Slow Stitch Sunday. And happy stitching. Bye-bye.